Well, this is an addition to first video I made about modifying this Grizzly lathe. I've done some other things since I made the first video, so I thought I'd make a number 2 video of modifying this lathe. One thing that I didn't show on the other video, I put this motor off this treadmill on this lathe, and I guess I probably had some shots of it, but I don't know how well it showed up. Let me swing this light around here. This is the original pulley that was on the treadmill, but this part right here was a great big old flywheel, and I ground it down and used the same belt, and actually used the same belt on the let's see if I can get this camera around here. I don't know if that'll show up. I used the same pulley off the treadmill on this lathe. I had to cut it down and cut the pulley that was originally on this Grizzly lathe down. But that way I was able to use this the same belt off the treadmill on this deal. Now, some of you may have wondered why the motor is turned as the way it is. It would have been nicer to have the motor turn in the opposite direction where it wasn't up here competing with what was turning. But this motor runs clockwise and the pulley is threaded. And if I run it, it'll run either direction, but if I run it counterclockwise, I'd have to put something in there to keep that pulley from running off. So I just mounted it where it would could run it clockwise and the pulley not fly off of it. So I didn't explain that in the first video. And this controller that I had originally, I made a little bit bigger bowl with it after I made that first video. And that bigger bowl, this control box I had, it failed. It had a little fuse in it, and the fuse blew, and I put another one in and it blew another fuse. So I felt like it wasn't adequate to handle this thing, and it was about a $15–20 control box and another little thing. I can't remember what it's called, but I bought this box. This box is rated for up to 3-horse treadmill motor, and it's all the specs on it. The voltage and so forth was within the range of what this motor was. So I bought this thing. It's about $125, I believe, but it seems to be working. Now I've got a different switch now for the. I bought a digital readout. This one that was on here was quit working, so I bought one off of Amazon or eBay or somewhere, and it runs off of this switch that used to run the machine, and now I've got this switch down here that runs the lathe. But it runs that's 7,000. That's more than I'll ever run, and it'll slow down to about 600, I believe. I haven't run this on a bigger bowl yet, but I've got a feeling that that'll solve my problem. This is a whole lot better looking box. I know it costs a lot more money, but I think that was money well spent. And I modified my dust collector. The one I had before was straight across on the bottom, had a hole in the side for this. This is my dust collector I use. But it didn't work too good, so I made this one. It's got some curved bottom on it and the pickup's down inside of it. That seems to work better. And I mounted this little fan up here. It's above head high. It's high enough where my head doesn't hit it. And it's pointed at the where the dust collection is. It seems to work pretty good. I mentioned in the first video about modifying this lathe that I had made a 24-inch diameter bowl. Maybe this box of crunching munch will kind of put it in perspective. It's 24 inches in diameter. Here's a picture of one of my little bowls, little boxes I'm making these days down inside this big old bowl. Maybe that'll illustrate the difference in sizes. I guess while I'm at it, I'll show you some of these. This is a bowl I made from some hackberry. I cut down a hackberry tree several years ago and didn't realize how good a wood it was for a bowl. And I gave most of it away to a friend of mine to burn for firewood. Here's one of my curly maple bowls. Smaller size. Here's one I made for my wife on Valentine's Day one year. There it is open. It's got threads on it. It's hard to do with one hand. I have had some comments about me using a rag to put this Johnson's paste wax on with. Everybody says that Johnson's paste wax is no longer sold, but some people chastise me pretty heavy for using a rag on that. They said there's a possibility it could get hung up and break your hand and stuff, and I realize that. And here's an old t-shirt that I use. I wrap the rag around my fingers and am very careful to stay away from the chuck. But, you know, I've had one guy tell me I had an obligation to not lead people astray. I don't think you can turn on a lathe without having a little bit of danger. He said that this steel wool was a no, you don't use it around the running, but I do that, and I guess I'm not as smart as some of these fellows are, but I'm very careful, and you don't need to do that just because I do, but you can be so careful. If you really don't want to take a chance on getting hurt, the best thing to do is just sit in your recliner and lean it way back and watch TV all day. Don't get out there fooling with a wood lathe, because there's so many things that can hurt you. I don't believe you can eliminate all of them. So anyhow, that's my take on that. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to show something that would make somebody that hadn't turned much do something to hurt themselves. But all I can say is it's dangerous. Anything you do on it is dangerous. So be careful.